to open up and accept a truth in your heart, like our spirit knows. For myself, I am on the 16th degree, so be sure to look into your natal chart and see if you have any main stage ingredients connected to this moon that may be activated, spiritual bliss in that arena or area, or setting the stage for our boundaries. Do you have boundary issues? Scorpio is just that, boundaries, but it's also the potentials. It's the ending, knowing when to end and when to begin, like even just ending a relationship. And the moon in Taurus is all about manifesting the sauce. So it's being about opening up to manifest what your heart wants and accept that manifestation. Like,
Inshallah. Dashe, blessings to you. It is a Wednesday full of wisdom, or a wisdom of a Wednesday, right? And it's snowing here. So with that, to all my replay and live stream viewers, either way, grateful to have you here today. And while I am waiting for people to hop on to the show, the live stream, you know, do you remember the $6 million man, the bionic man or the bionic woman, how they could rebuild it better, stronger, faster? Today kind of has that kind of energy. So as things begin to break down or things start to happen, possibly some triggers. Remember, triggers are signs of growth periods, by the way. So you may truly begin to feel the inner self-trust that you've been creating and manifesting literally vibrate and come to life, taking form. And these transformations that have been happening or making, entering the stage, it all takes that initiation for us to love and protect, along with trusting the process while we're navigating these streams. It's the energy of holding space and taking that in-breath and that pause. I love the count of 3. Of course, you know that because you listen to me. But during this inner transformation, what's the key ingredient? It's compassion, removing all the threads of self-doubt that we have inside of us, or worry, or whatever lingering notes we might have, and holding the keynote of, you know, my keynote is I am doing great. So in setting that foundational stage around our thoughts, our inner characters, behaviors, the world sees that shift, that transformation, and removing our judgmental thoughts and allowing sacred space. You know, we have been creating to do that job, to create the manifestation, and allowing our heart, our core processor, to be in the exercise, the practice of feeling heartfelt, unconditional self-love and that inner self-belief within ourselves. So we are having things that make our life miserable leave the court, if you will. So energies that have been in the mud for a while, that have been breaking down our foundations, whether it's relationships to ourselves or how we talk to ourselves in our inner world, anything that's been in the mud, the mental muddle of our thoughts, maybe things that are foggy. What are we doing to create a new foundation after the foundation comes down? You know, it's like, wait, we can rebuild it. We can be like the $6 million man, healing the physical way, things that are shifting, situations, events that are all transforming. So this healing, the healing from the dismantling, if you will, kind of like when you go remodel an old house. I watched that this morning. Really super cool. But it gives us this feeling of physical healing as well. Possibly not realizing the chaos that the structure has been creating on the inside behind the sheetrock. That's kind of what I was looking for. However, the universe only gives us energetically what we can handle, removing those, the last little fine print or blueprint, the obstacle that has the potential to break this foundation. So we do know inside of us that we are done, like done. And we're removing the unseen things that have been creating the condition, the root condition. So we're in a day to manifest and know what our choices are to rebuild and walk the line like Johnny Cash, walking away. We can rebuild it, Humpty Dumpty, or we can create it differently, innovative. So we have options. We can either rebuild it to the same structure it was before or do something different, like the $6 million man. Just learning from it and getting the memo, or we can stay on that same hamster wheel with a different face. Happens all the time. So it's the climbing up and the descending that's in this escalation of these waves. So the changes that we make today have this galactic manifestation of power. So look at the integrity of yourself and the structures that you're manifesting and putting energy into what we attract, that frequency of that we are frequenting. if that got out there right. And if you are new to my live stream or my show, once again, welcome to the Daily Snippet. I am your host. I'm a practicing holistic shaman and medium, an otherworldly life coach, and a subtle energetic surgeon. I do go by the term holistic shaman medium, which is a combination of it all. And my intention is to utilize these indigenous technologies, more importantly, the elemental realms, our original divine blueprint to navigate our soul's harmonic through these realms, whether it's elemental, imaginal, into and through the shaman's portal, which is online for the season of Scorpio, our 8th energetic center, the cosmos, all the subtle realms, and really so much more. With offerings, prescriptions, and ritual, I might add the otherworldly kind to really add to the sauce the juice of your main stage ingredients in that personal container. What's been called your personal medicine, your prime directive. Just really assisting you in discovering or navigating that inner genius, your personal medicine, the star that I believe we all are. Possibly even just reintroducing you to that magical being, that essence that resides within, so that your light streams even brighter. So with that, welcome to my virtual medicine room. I am Tanya D again. And if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do, YouTube or otherwise, Tanya D on YouTube, or at Tanya D, I noticed. Musing with Tanya D, my podcast this year. Again, it's the Otherworldly Insight season, and out for your musing pleasure. The season of Scorpio, we do have Hades and Pluto in the house, setting the shaman's portal, the foundation, our soul star, our 8th energetic center, the mystical, the imaginal, and the magical, I should add. A new podcast is coming out on Monday, but I'd love to give a big shout out to the village, the community, my new subscribers. I see you and hear you. And of course, to those of you that have been a part of my journey since the beginning, hallelujah and gratitude. And also those of you that are just now tuning into the replay. And if you don't mind hitting the bell button so you're notified, along with, I guess it's a white button now, we're changing colors, which is great, right? And remember, a comment or share does get you a message for your day to get you on your way. And it really does assist with the algorithm. It helps to echo it out, that ever-changing frequency vibration. So it's about healing these thread lines, insights of the other world, the world of spirit, our ancestors, the subtle energies, the elementals, source. There's so much stuff, and the cosmos. It's in our cosmic soup, really. You can also find me on other social channels like TikTok and Instagram, and of course Facebook, where I'm streaming now. However, if your soul is nudging you, possibly, oftentimes kicking, dragging, screaming, it's like we're not getting the memo, to dive on deeper into the realms of the other world, the mystical and the magical, head on over to the Musing Corridor. This is my digital library in the sky. It's a venue where I have some amazing options and opportunities to assist you, to guide you, a private sacred circle, a community, a village is what I like to call it, to utilize as well. I am your otherworldly shamanic assistant. You truly are your own healer, but sometimes we do have energetic hiccups, and we do need an otherworldly life coach assistant to really get us out of our own way. And if your soul is really calling you, join the Shamanic Healing Academy. You can see what's in the sauce there. It's a mentorship or membership opportunity. So with that, just a few announcements because we're diving in today. And it's a snow day. So, of course, I did snow, the first snowstorm. Ours is kind of slushy. A fun little childlike wonder playing in the rain with those nice little galoshes. Little kids are great. We could learn a lot from them. And of course, an indoor starting of the first fire in the house, right? In the season of winter, wherever you live. Sometimes they don't allow us to do that. However, just a few announcements with that for your musing pleasure. We do have the full moon lunar eclipse, the Beaver blood moon. The intensity is the name here. Lots of cosmic energy at play. Be sure to actually tune into the Musing Moon meditation. Subscribe on YouTube so that you are notified when it's there, which it is there, by the way. Or the Musing News, it'll be right in your inbox. But being in the season of Scorpio, the energy of transformation, the rise of the phoenix, this is playing out in our inner world. And it's soon going to be bringing it to the stage of our day-to-day world. And I also have a podcast dedicated to Pluto, the god of the underworld, coming out on Monday. And also, I've just released the highway. I have the Shamanic Healing Academy. So this is a hub. I'm so excited to have it. And you do have some options to be a part of it. The door is open for you, either a membership or a mentorship. So I'm all about options. whatever you're filling into. However, for the first 20 people, the foundational people, not only do you get Soliciting Solitude for free, normally it's an angelic number because everything about me is all about the numbers of 111, but you will also be getting that for a complimentary freebie. And you also get a 15-minute intuitive divination session with yours truly, myself. I'm calling it a comfort session, by the way. And we also have the Energy Body Demystified, which I normally have out there on the gateway for $888, a value there. But it's also going to be for free. So you decide, a $55 a month for a membership and get in, or really almost $1,000 for the opportunity if you were to purchase them all separately. Or to be part of the mentorship, taking it up a notch, listening to your soul and navigating your spirit. So this is really a magnetic day for creation and manifestation. It's like, are we putting it out there, what we are taking in, or are we just taking it in and not putting it out? So our inner world perspective, these walls are being restructured. It's like the wall of inner trust. Kind of reminds me of the inner tower walls, again, like the foundations, you know, when you get your house, the sheetrock, and then they come in and do the mud. But I mean, who doesn't have trust issues? Feels way too unfamiliar, right? So inner trust is a sensation. It's threaded to our inner feelings of security, of feeling safe, grounded, protected, like I am in my skin. That's why I like to say climb into your skin. But we get that unfamiliar feeling, and we get often inside of us that makes us feel insecure, maybe vulnerable in the process. And we need to do something that inspires some inner nurturing, inner emotional coddling, if you will. The little kid in the bucket there. But the waters are waving, so you may feel queasy on the inside, those inner waters. So imagine, if you will, a block of clay, and the clay that you have molded a new model of yourself. So this new model of you has this solid foundation of inner trust, like an inner child. So what's the key ingredient for the clay? Maintaining the new enforcers of protection. The process really has begun. And in the process, we're putting our energy, our Jedi force, if you will, into what we are becoming ultimately, instead of anything negative that could tear down the walls, breaking the clay or the mold. You know, if you don't put the clay in the burner, it kind of crumbles and falls apart. So we're creating a mold of greater self-worth with the clay, self-value. So these streams really come from the inside of us, and they stream outside of us. This is kind of a conscious collectiveness of streams. Some of us are holding the field, the force field, while others are still in this esteemed narrative, if you will. And really, what's so bad about feeling great? Not just for yourself, but also patting somebody else on the back for their accomplishments. You know, so be happy, be grateful for what others have created. I really had a guest yesterday, and, you know, she was blessed with selling her business. So I was like, go girl, you're doing great. And then it was funny. She said she had good news and bad news. So the good news was she sold the business. The bad news was she couldn't participate in some other thing. And I was like, who cares? You know, she was just sharing that some of her friends didn't show the excitement that I did, which is kind of interesting and disturbing, kind of curious. I mean, I get it. We do get stuck in our own swirl, but we are all particles, atoms, and waves. So her joy is also my joy in the collective. So it's a win-win when we can be excited and embrace that. So focusing on the feeling of this worth growing and flowing, because her transformation is also mine, because we're all part of this, right? So in our soul, down to our bones of the soup, the depth of this cosmic soup, notice your new worth, your new self-value. The muggle puddles, they begin to dissipate or evaporate into thin air sometimes, the ones that we hold in our inner world, our inner life. So just being grateful and see what you have accomplished, how far you have come, what you're going to continue to create and manifest, even with all the energetic hiccups, the excitement of the rugs and the teardowns and the rebuilds. Honor the value inside of yourself to bring that value to the outer self, to our day-to-day world. So that's really what that's about. Sometimes it's hard, but in the thick of it, be excited for the other. I mean, you can still be compassionate for the other stuff. I won't go down that rabbit hole. I'd rather not. Okay, on the elemental highway, we've got a Yin Earth Goat of a day, the greatest of all time, next to the dog. Whoopsie, what's happening here? I got a screen on my screen. Not sure how that happened. That was weird. Things are happening here. On the elemental highway, we do have a Yin Earth, again, goat of a day. 2 Yin Earths, a Jaya Way, And remember what I said about Yin Earth? It houses everything, all those other little mini critters. And it's a meadow, not a metal, a meadow in the mountains, a large meadow, I should say, with a lake, some trees. We've got a forest and some great huge boulders. It's a dry mountain river. So rocks in the base of a river. Again, the energy is leaving the day. It's feeding the tiger. It's moving away from our day because the earth creates or houses the metal creates the water feeds the tiger. Woo, and then we've got all that fire hidden underneath in storage. So it's kind of feeding the outer world, but our day is also strong, it's solid. But the earth is dry, and being that it's the dominant element, it's not going to get any nourishment in a way. It's just kind of, it's very hard. It's hard and dry, parched. And not to get too creepy, just an observation in my weirdness. I'm not a physical doctor in the physical world, so I'm just musing here. But what I found is in the season of Earth or in transition of Earth or people with a lot of Earth element in their charts, they seem to attract conditions like the flu and other things, I'll say, because of the abundant Earth element being abundant. Boosting the other elementals is great. That's a great idea. If you do have a lot of Earth energy in your chart, that's something I have noticed as far as being sick, phlegm in the condition of earth and lungs. And the dog serves as storage for excess earth as well. So we've got an abundance of it. But our day is strong. It's also very parched. It's dry. It's thick. It's heavy. The tiger is loosening the earth. And again, the hour of the horse, we have that fire trying to warm it up. And fire is hidden. It is in storage. But it's also birthing in the season of the tiger. So we've got this transformational energy. We do need the river, the yin water, to reconcile, to get us in the flow, to clear the muddy waters. But yin earth, again, is that nurturing soil. It's fertile soil, which all things can grow in. So different living creations and critters and sprouts, they all kind of birth out of this. It's resourceful, it's creative. But of all those living creations sprouting from the soil, herbs really are the best thing. So use nutrition from plants if you have a lot of earth in your chart. Again, in herbs and elementals, the tiger nature is loosening up the earth. That's why it's a healing factor. Just an observation there. But it's allergies, people prone to allergies because the soil houses all of these creations and microbes and all these little things, you know. There's so much in the earth if you were to think about it. Along with metal or minerals, that would also be an asset. The dry riverbed that has water flowing in it, nature would be a great asset for today. And maybe pruning the trees, connect with an otherworldly being, a wedame, a genie, a contemple of the waters maybe. Community, storytelling, manifesting, loving and trusting the process, trusting and loving the inner process as well. And then we do have a neighboring god today called the performer. It's at a super octave. It's on the stage, the limelight, people who love to be in front of other people performing. We may see some politicians hitting the stage here in the States performing, just saying, in the neighborhood, right? And on the year, we do have the communicator also at a higher octave, but not as high as the performer on the month. Very close, but this is excellent at storytelling and communicating, selling yourself, salespeople, motivational speakers usually have this talent as well as authors, best-selling writers. However, the other side of the coin of that is the illusion that can sometimes lead them to behave in fraudulent ways. So it's kind of curious with politicians and voting, and we have this performer kind of communication kind of day. So I do feel that there is some need for some childhood corners, if you know what I'm saying. Just remember that I don't know if you did, but my mom used to make me sit in the kitchen chair and think about it or have a timeout. But politicians, maybe they do need a timeout. Sit in a corner and muse about things, words, you know. Be careful with words. Mars is retrograde in the sign of the mind. So we've got this cosmic kind of soup happening, just saying. So with that, I am bringing in the Fae today for this manifesting day, drawing the line, like what is ending and what is manifesting. So you do have options. And again, I'll show them. So you could have the little kid playing in the water, which is awesome. My little son did that years ago. A first new snowstorm, which I'm having today, and a nice warm fire, which I'm probably going to have today as well. So first up, if you chose the little child playing in the waters, this is a topsy-turvette part of the Helpline Troop. And these little fae, they come in all sizes. These little wee folk, they're associated with the realm of the elementals, all of the elementals, even the off-grid galactic ones. So be creative in contemplation with that. All of the elementals, very vast and a wide field there. So yeah, be creative, explore. The 51, that's being mindful of our heart. So when we are mindful in that sacred space, we then can open up our heart and accept a new attitude, a new soul affirmation, especially in the season of Scorpio, a new boundary of thinking in a new mindful way. But the Turvets, the Topsy Turvets, I love these guys. This is a change of viewpoint, fresh looks, a new way of seeing things, that mountaintop perspective, seeing through the eyes of the other world, the eyes of God, that mountaintop view. So when life feels upside wrong and confusing, that's when these little energetic little critters, beings come in. And nothing draws them in like some mental muddle of our mind. They don't cause the confusion. You know, we're great at doing that for ourselves or each other, but they are attracted to that frequency, energy, vibration. So confusion is this important stage of growth, and they really delight in making things grow. It's like where little things turn into big things because they're growing. These little critters, they live everywhere, but they're not the only ones that need help here. They help all little beings, and they're very busy. They're excessively busy, but fortunately for us, they're quite prolific. So there is a lot of them, but being that they showed up, this means somebody needs to look again to make an effort to see things from a totally different point of view. It's kind of a suggestion that confusion may exist because we are asking the wrong questions, or maybe we have made some assumptions that aren't correct either. They're incorrect. So maybe we've run into a brick wall with all of those misconceptions. So they're asking us to literally to back up and to question our assumptions and try to focus on things from the viewpoint of other people involved in the muddle, the mental muddle of our mind, and asking us to let go of our attachment to our own point of view. Stop saying things like ought of or should of, the coulda, woulda, shoulda, especially about other people. But more empathetically, they suggest that we start trying to see things as they really are, naturally, organically, instead of how someone thinks they should be. So it's also kind of a warning that maybe somebody involved is in the metal muddle, but the question or the issue at hand is mentally upside down or maybe sideways or backwards. So the message is that things need to be looked at from a different angle. We need to literally back off from the emotional entanglement that we might have and look with new eyes. A lot of the apparent confusion about the issue, situation, whatever, is kind of caused by a faulty point of view, a fault line. So get the opinions of others, the honest ones, and kind of relook on your own. Defensiveness, denial, that might be what's causing much of the situation, the difficulty, the root problem. Just try imagining that you are looking at the situation from the point of view of each of the other people involved, or looking through a different point of view, like I would say otherworldly myself. So this is not an exercise in deciding how others ought to see things, but in discovering how possibly that they really do. So be curious. Words like he ought to see that are not really useful at the moment. It's a moment to really take that breath and take that pause and tune into these little beings to receive the hints, the subtle hints, by really listening. They are really experts in that field. So they're quite magical and mystical. I talk about them quite often. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm daydreaming now. Okay, so the little kid, you got the Turvets. Now we're going to move on to the nice, warm, hearty fire, and this is Mickle. We've had him again. Mickle, a muggle, also part of the Helpline Troop, so he's also going to the energy of our mind. After we initiate, we took an action to Law of Attract, the 49. So what does or does not belong based on the frequency we are frequenting. That's when we then hold the tone, the tune into our heart, kind of the tonality and the tuning, like our own tuning fork, really. So it's like, what does the heart believe about it? Do we or don't belong? Attracting in the sacred space, the sacred spheres of a boundary of protection. And then we go ahead and we frequent again. So it's in the spinning into another world, a realm, or a dimension. But this is our everyday blessings at play. His is more about mixed blessings even. I do have a blessing bowl on my desk. I find that curious. With a piece of cactus. I won't go there. But Mickle is known as the mixed blessing fairy. He's the joy, the glee, the merriment, the childlike open heart. So little things do come in great packages, and he is the little thing. So he is also good, and he is well packaged in his skin. That's kind of the fairy logic of it all. He is foolish, he is playful, he is gleeful, so it's great. He likes to goof off. He considers play to be the art form. He sees himself even as a fine artiste. So he understands renewing the spirit and recreating the body and our emotions, which is part of the frequency of today. And he knows that all of us have a child within us, that childlike wonder who needs to play, be cherished, be nurtured. And he also knows that we do need to make some mistakes so we can learn and grow from them. So that's how we got the name or the title of A Mixed Blessing. So when we stop pretending to be adults for just a moment, a figment in time possibly, and stop living up to some impossible, probably boring standard of what the outer world is spewing upon us, we can then regain this clear, direct vision of that childlike wonder, which is amazing. And we can see things as they really are, and we can focus on the present moment with that wonder, which really is our only place of power, is in the now, right? The power of now. So here and now is where we can do the things, we can change things, and really enjoy the real things instead of the mere ideas and the dreams. So Mickle is a reminder that the past is the past. It's gone forever. The future is a dream. And now in this moment by moment, unless you're Merlin, okay, I'm just saying that out loud. But he's the great explorer. He's the adventurer of life. He leads us into those places that are hidden, surprising, magical, if we allow him to open those doors. So he's asking us to literally lighten up. What is needed here is really that childlike wonder, trusting our heart, that childlike wisdom, and seeing directly into the true nature of things like little kids. Don't overcomplicate matters, or what you see is often what you get. So don't look for hidden subtle meanings or motivations, because they're not there in this case. So go to the heart of the matter, the simple core hidden behind all those complexities, and don't get caught up in the thinking about the future that you can't see what is really happening. You might get prophetic motions, but be in the now and welcome some new adventure into your life. Try something that you may have never tried before. Take some time to play with Mickle, if you will, before you turn into that grump or a worn out rug that sits on the couch or the floor. Childlike wonder, go watch some little kids explore. See if you can connect with your own innate childlike wonder, such as it's a great comfort and a feeling watching little kids. I'm just telling you, they're hilarious. Of course, that's why grandparents are great, or fairy godmothers, because you can always send them home after, of course, you've given them too much candy. Just saying. And then we finish up. Let's see. If you chose the little slushy rainstorm, we have the sage, which we did have this I think a week ago or so, but I love the sage. This is like this wise critter, part of the She, the lords and the ladies of the realm of the Fae. These are the old ones, the ancient ones. They're the dancers. They mediate the powerful energies of the singers to bring them into manifestations throughout the worlds. And they do this for the joy of it, the pure joy of the dance, this alchemical art. That's the dance of life itself. So they create and nurture and build these worlds, and the inhabitants of those worlds kind of makes me feel like the Yin Earth frequency, but they're available to each and every one of us as guardians and gatekeepers and comforters, the She, as well as teachers. But they also create those frequent miracles. So each one has their own potent power and magic. But the Sage, the 19, which is a great frequency, this is taking energy, or the energy of taking a heartfelt action, the action on behalf of our heart, acting on behalf of the heart. How often do we do that? We then have this loving, trusting manifestation creation that our heart truly is in love with, that creation, which is actually the foundational energy of our day, but it's in our inner world, and this frequency is in our day-to-day world. So this is wisdom, it's hidden knowledge, it's retreating, going on a retreat, old age, and patience. This is like an old wise sage. I was going to say an age-old wise sage. But the sage is also the shaman. And remember, not all wise men are shamans, and not all shamans are wise men, medicine people. But this one has both. So this is power informed by wisdom, and wisdom manifested by power. So it's two sides of the same coin. So this is also the face of Father Time. You can see that in the season of the colors that are surrounding him. Just magical, right? Father Time, the seasons, the cycle of the season. Sometimes he's the old man of the mountain. Sometimes he's the hermit who's searching for wisdom within and having some understanding. And he's willing to share all of this with any true seeker who actually comes to him. But he does have a blind eye, and that enables him to look into other worlds and other realms. There was actually a shaman in Mongolia that had this. It was incredible. But there's this deep wisdom that's buried within each of us where the singers dwell. So reaching the stage of life where this being, this energy, has let many of the activities, I would say, I'm feeling almost all, the younger related activities kind of retreating somewhere from the outer realm of the Fae. He's become deeply immersed in the inner landscapes of knowledge and inner vision, contemplation, and spirit. This really is the shaman's portal. And on the exterior, he lives this simple, rich inner world life. So it's like two sides of the coin. The inner world is more overflowing, like the hermit, what you perceive, which is interesting with the cards. But in order to pursue, he studies more thoroughly. The sage has kind of cultivated detachment. You might see this person as maybe remote or cold, but he's no less loving for that. He sees the connection in these relationships, the cosmic field, the consequences between seemingly what appears to be a separate idea, beings and things. I'm thinking of particles and waves again. This is great. But being that he's otherworldly, this is it's an energy that's blocked. It might be artificial. Maybe you have inappropriate boundaries. They're set between different aspects of life. We become unhappy to apply learning in one sphere to other aspects to another. It's they're not streaming, or the information's withheld. It's kept secret when it could benefit the whole, which in turn benefits us. So sometimes learning is blocked by the belief that we already have all the answers, but we never actually quit learning, right? I mean, we're always learning something new, or at least I hope so. But when the sage's energy is twisted, it's an accumulation of facts and information. It becomes unwisdom, unwise. Knowledge becomes misused. It's distorted. It's fragmented. The facts distorted for selfish reasons. Information kind of used at the detriment of others. It's kind of interesting that I pulled this card today. I won't go down the rabbit hole. But there is this always a risk of this when we set out to prove something rather than discover something. And other twists may be being overly or excessively critical, being cold and caring. Reminds me of a Capricorn moon. Sorry about that. Not sorry, but being cynical, embittered. These are all faults of balance, right? The balance are out of fault. And at its worst, knowledge and experience are channeled sometimes towards the destruction of ourselves or others. So on a day of manifesting boundaries that are sacred for our inner world, and the ones we can trust and love simultaneously streaming, taking it to the limit, be in a state of love, a congruency of loving and trusting and valuing our inner transformations. We are always in transformation, or we become stagnant, and we know what happens then. But the key is to trust the process, as it's going to feel very possibly unfamiliar, getting back to that original origin. But the energy requires us to kind of simmer in our cosmic soup, simmer in the sauce, and giving it time and space, because things are taking new form. Particles may be leaving and new particles may be coming in, or atoms, or whatever you're negating. But with the Earth star and the shaman's portal online, and seriously, this blood moon is coming, you might just be feeling that. Listen to the meditation. You may just want to stay indoors for this one, just saying. It's going to be a wonky ride. I would be holding the line of faith. Faith. I go around the wheel holding faith, the cosmic wheel. So faith is this higher vibrational outcome. Just having and trusting and holding faith. Skipping stones sometimes, right? So in doing so, in some self-realization, you might have this moment where you belong may need some adjustments, stronger adjustments in that, especially in your field today with the cosmic spheres, the all or the nothingness, the opening to a new potential even. So it's kind of a reflection to where we're shifting our inner values in our day-to-day world along with the collective frequency. It's like a star grid, right? We're kind of stretching the boundaries, how to be in order to be in service to others and honoring ourselves. Honor thyself, to thine own self be true, our heart, our sacred boundaries of our own holy communion and spirit. And when we honor self, we honor all, our inner world to the outer. So I'd be ready to manifest at the core of your God spot, just spinning, spinning, and spinning. And knowing you can honor and trust your inner world, loving yourself, really does set the foundation to manifest in the streams of our outer realms, as long as it's heart initiated. So with that, I would affirm I'm in my cosmic sphere, our orb, our own personal orb, simmering in a new place to manifest trust, loving, and honoring the magical being that resides within you. I would like simmer in that sauce and get a feeling for that. Maybe take notice of it. See how it feels, see what comes up. And remember that the Shamanic Healing Academy is open, and the first 20 people get an intuitive divination with me for free. 15 minutes, by the way, not including the other gems. And with that, I will see you on the other side. Ashe, ashe. It's a snow day. Hey, I got a compliment on my hair today, by the way. Just saying. It's great. We're doing great, everybody. We're doing great.